Are you feeling okay? Kweli asks softly. Kweli's chest tightens. Jabali, You should leave if you don't believe in this marriage. He cuts her off, pushing his chair back abruptly. His gaze flickers to her sandals for the briefest moment before he strides out of the house. Hello, my wonderful friends. I am Amina, and this is my wise and beloved companion, Nia Tembo. Together, we bring you the magic of Africa's most beautiful folk tales, filled with wisdom, adventure, and heart. If you love these stories and want to see more, please take a moment to subscribe. It's completely free, but it helps us more than you know. And for those who carry the spirit of Africa in their hearts, be sure to check out our gift shop below, filled with treasures for travellers, storytellers, and lovers of African culture. Now, stay with us until the very end, because Nia Tembo has some powerful words of wisdom you won't want to miss. In the heart of the bustling Nyamazi market, where traders from far and wide gather to sell their wares, there is one shop that stands out among the rest. It belongs to Mama Jovia, an elderly woman with a warm smile and a reputation for selling the most beautiful, yet ridiculously cheap, sandals in the entire region. People swarm to her shop daily, marvelling at the fine leather and intricate beadwork of her footwear, unable to understand how she can sell them at such a low price. But what the people of Nyamazi do not know is that Mama Jovia carries a dark secret. Hidden beneath her gentle demeanour lies an unsettling truth. Her sandals are cursed, and each pair carries the power to alter the lives of those who wear them. One fateful afternoon, a newly married couple, Jabali and his pregnant wife, Kweli, enter the market in search of new shoes. Kweli's keen eyes fall upon a pair of deep crimson sandals, their surface glistening under the sun as if whispering her name. But just as Jabali reaches for his own pair, a message appears on his phone. His expression tightens. Kweli, noticing his hesitation, snatches the phone and reads a text from a woman named Zoya. "Who is Zoya, Jabali?" she asks, her voice cold. Jabali sighs, rubbing his forehead. "Kweli, it's nothing. Just a friend." But the seeds of suspicion have been planted. Before he can say another word, Mama Jovia, standing behind the counter, intervenes with a chuckle. "Ah, young love, you two should take these sandals. They will bring you closer." Kweli hesitates, but when another customer seems eager to buy the same pair, she grabs them quickly. "I'll take them," she says, throwing a defiant glance at Jabali. With a knowing smile, Mama Jovia carefully wraps the sandals. "A wise choice, my child. May they take you exactly where you need to go." Little does Kweli know, her journey is about to begin in the most unexpected way. The moment Kweli slips her feet into the sandals, a strange sensation washes over her. A chill, fleeting yet undeniable, crawls up her spine. She shakes it off, blaming the tension between her and Jabali, and follows him back home. That night, a deep silence blankets their house. Jabali, still troubled by their argument, goes to bed early, while Kweli paces the kitchen, preparing a late dinner. Just as she finishes, a loud shriek pierces through the night. Heart pounding, she rushes upstairs, only to find Jabali still in bed, his body completely still. She calls his name, but he does not respond. Suddenly, his eyes snap open, glowing an eerie shade of gold. "You betrayed me first," he murmurs, his voice layered, as though another presence speaks through him. Kweli stumbles back. "Jabali, stop playing! You're scaring me!" But he only turns over, ignoring her completely. The room is heavy with something unseen, something dark. Shaken, Kweli spends the night awake, staring at her husband, wondering what has taken hold of him. She notices how his breathing is too steady, too rhythmic, as if controlled by an unseen force. Several times, she reaches out to touch him, but something about his stillness unsettles her, making her withdraw. In the dim glow of the moon, she stares at her sandals by the door. The crimson leather gleams faintly as if pulsing with life. A whisper, too faint to be real, brushes against her ear. Her heart thuds. She glances at the doorway, expecting to see someone standing there, but the corridor is empty. The house feels colder than usual. A sudden wave of nausea rolls through her, and for a moment, she feels lightheaded. She presses her hand against her belly, whispering reassurances to the child growing inside her. Morning arrives, but Jabali remains eerily distant. When Kweli sets a plate of breakfast before him, he does not even glance at it. Instead, he stares into the distance, his fingers tapping against the wooden table in a slow, deliberate rhythm. "Are you feeling okay?" Kweli asks softly. Kweli's chest tightens. "Jabali, You should leave if you don't believe in this marriage." He cuts her off, pushing his chair back abruptly. His gaze flickers to her sandals for the briefest moment before he strides out of the house. Kweli sits there, frozen. The words he spoke were cruel, unlike him. Deep down, she knows something is terribly wrong. But what unsettles her most is not just his behaviour. It's the eerie sensation that the sandals she wears are somehow watching, listening, waiting. By nightfall, the whispers return, louder than before. And this time, they call her name. The days stretch into weeks, but Jabali's transformation only worsens. His once warm and affectionate gaze is now distant and cold, as if he is merely a shadow of the man he used to be. He barely speaks to Kweli, and when he does, his words are sharp, cutting through her like jagged glass. The light-hearted laughter they once shared is now a distant memory, replaced by a chilling silence that clings to their home like a thick fog. At first, Kweli convinces herself that it is stress, that perhaps their growing family and the pressures of life have weighed too heavily on him. But deep inside, a darker suspicion festers. It is not just the distance between them, it is the way he looks at her. Like a stranger, like an intruder in his world. One night, as she lies awake in bed, she hears it again. The whispers. They coil around her like a suffocating mist, slithering into her ears and burrowing into her thoughts. She bolts upright, her heartbeat thundering against her ribs. The room is empty, save for the soft glow of moonlight seeping through the curtains. But something is not right. She turns to Jabali. He is fast asleep, his face peaceful, yet unnervingly still. But just as she reaches out to touch him, his lips part and a single chilling word slips from his mouth. "Leave." Kweli recoils, her breath catching in her throat. He is asleep, yet his voice is different, deeper, layered, as if it belongs to someone else. The whispers intensify, growing louder, their voices overlapping, filling the room with a cacophony of eerie laughter. Kweli clutches her belly protectively, willing herself to stay strong, but fear slithers down her spine like a living thing. The sandals, it has to be the sandals. Her gaze darts to where they rest near the door, the crimson leather gleaming in the darkness, almost as if they are watching her back. Jabali begins staying out later and later. When he does come home, his eyes are distant, his touch hollow. Kweli watches him closely, searching for any remnants of the man she married, but all she finds is a void where his warmth used to be. She tries to reach him. She prepares his favourite meals, speaks to him softly, hoping to coax out a flicker of familiarity. But he does not respond. He merely stares at her, his gaze blank, his presence unsettling. Then, one evening, she follows him. She keeps her distance, moving like a shadow as he disappears down the winding roads of Nyamazi. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth. the market long closed, leaving the streets eerily silent. Kweli clutches her shawl tighter around her shoulders, every fibre of her being screaming at her to turn back. But she cannot. Not now. Jabali stops at the edge of a clearing, just beyond the outskirts of the village. A fire burns low, casting flickering shadows on the towering baobab trees that surround it. He steps forward, his movements unnervingly stiff. And then, a voice, low, guttural, ancient. "You are almost ready." Kweli's breath catches in her throat. Hidden behind a tree, she watches as a hooded figure emerges from the shadows, their hands raised as if conducting an unseen force. Jabali nods, his golden eyes gleaming in the firelight. Kweli's heart shatters. Whatever has taken hold of her husband is no longer human. She stumbles back, a twig snapping beneath her foot. The hooded figure's head snaps toward her, and in that moment, she knows. They have seen her. Jabali's absence grows longer. Some nights, he does not return home at all. When he does, he reeks of strange herbs, his clothes damp with an eerie musk that Kweli cannot place. His skin appears paler, his cheekbones sharper, as if he is wasting away into something unrecognisable. Kweli watches him from the doorway one evening as he stands before the mirror, whispering in a voice she does not recognise. His reflection does not move in sync with his body. Instead, it lags behind, twitching unnaturally. Her breath catches in her throat. "Jabali!" His head jerks toward her, the golden hue in his eyes flickering. "Go back to bed, Kweli." But she does not move. "What is happening to you? What have you done?" A strange smile creeps across his lips. "I have done nothing, my love. It is you who has changed." Fear coils around her heart. She knows, without a doubt, that the sandals are at the centre of it all. They whisper to her at night, laughing, mocking, waiting. She must find help. She must break this curse before it consumes them both. But time is running out. The night air is thick with fear as Kweli flees back to the village, her breath ragged and her heart pounding in her chest. The shadows seem to stretch and follow her, whispering just beyond her hearing. She does not stop until she reaches the home of the one person who might have answers. Bibi Sefu, the village elder and healer. Bibi Sefu opens the door before Kweli even knocks, her weathered face unreadable. "I have been expecting you, child," she says, stepping aside to let Kweli in. The scent of burning herbs fills the small hut, and in the dim candlelight, Kweli notices strange symbols drawn onto the floor. "Tell me everything," Bibi Sefu commands. Kweli does not hold back. She tells her of Jabali's transformation, the eerie whispers, the hooded figure in the forest, and, most importantly, the sandals. As she speaks, Bibi Sefu's face darkens. "The cursed sandals of Nyamazi. I had prayed they were lost forever," the elder murmurs, shaking her head. "You are in great danger, child." Kweli grips the arms of her chair. "I need to break this curse. Tell me how." Bibi Sefu studies her for a long moment, before reaching for a bundle of dried leaves. The spirit bound to those sandals is ancient. It does not steal openly. It deceives, it weaves illusions, and it feeds on despair. The moment you put them on, it bound itself to you and to Jabali. "Then I will destroy them," Kweli says, standing up. "I will burn them tonight." But Bibi Sefu's hand shoots out, grasping her wrist with surprising strength. "No! You must do it properly, or the curse will not end. It will only spread." Kweli's stomach clenches. "How?" The elder takes a deep breath. "You must burn them with anointed oil under the light of a blood moon. But first, you must sever the spirit's hold over Jabali. And that," she hesitates, "that will not be easy." Kweli's blood runs cold. "What do I need to do?" Bibi Sefu's gaze hardens. You must bring Jabali to me before the next moonrise. If you fail, you will lose him forever. The weight of her task presses onto Kweli's shoulders, but there is no time to waste. She nods. I will bring him. But deep inside, she wonders, will Jabali even come willingly? The next night will decide everything. The moon hangs heavy in the sky, shrouded in crimson light. Kweli's hands tremble as she grips the small vial of anointed oil Bibi Sefu gave her. She has only one chance, one night, to save Jabali from whatever darkness has claimed him. She moves swiftly through the village, her heart hammering against her ribs. Each step forward feels like walking deeper into an abyss. The words of Bibi Sefu echo in her mind. He will not come willingly. Jabali is at the far end of the village, standing alone beneath the twisted branches of the baobab tree, his back turned toward her. The wind rustles through his tattered robes, and for a moment, he looks nothing like the man she married. Jabali! Kweli calls, forcing strength into her voice. He does not turn. She steps closer. The crimson light of the blood moon casts eerie shadows across his face as he slowly turns to face her. His golden eyes gleam with something unnatural. You should not have come, he says, his voice layered with something far more ancient than himself. Kweli swallows her fear. I'm taking you to Bibi Sefu. She can help you. This thing that has taken hold of you is not stronger than us. Jabali lets out a slow, twisted chuckle. You think I need help? He takes a step forward, and for the first time, Kweli notices how unnatural his movements have become. Jagged, almost puppet-like. I have never felt more powerful. The whispers surge around them, hissing through the air. Kweli's grip tightens around the vial. She must act now. With a swift motion, she uncorks the oil and flings it toward Jabali. The moment it touches his skin, he recoils, letting out a guttural roar that shakes the earth. His body convulses, the golden light in his eyes flickering like a dying flame. For a moment, Kweli sees him, the real Jabali, his face contorted in pain. Kweli, help me, he gasps, his voice raw, desperate. Tears blur her vision, but she does not hesitate. She lunges forward, grabbing his wrist. You have to fight it. You are stronger than this curse. The shadows scream in protest. The air grows thick with an invisible force, trying to pull them apart. Kweli digs her nails into Jabali's arm, refusing to let go. Then, from the darkness, a figure emerges. Mama Jovia. Her once kind face is twisted with fury. You foolish girl! She hisses. You dare interfere? Kweli shields Jabali, standing between him and the cursed merchant. I know what you are. I know what you've done. Mama Jovia smiles, but it is not warm. It is cold, cruel. Then you should know. I never lose. With a flick of her wrist, the wind howls, and the earth trembles beneath Kweli's feet. The final battle for Jabali's soul has begun. The earth trembles beneath Kweli's feet as the darkness swirls around her. The air is thick with the weight of unseen forces, their whispers growing into agonized shrieks as Mama Jovia raises her hands toward the sky. The blood moon casts eerie light over the scene, making everything feel surreal. You are too late, Mama Jovia hisses, her eyes glinting with malice. He belongs to me now. Kweli tightens her grip on Jabali's wrist. He is shaking violently, torn between two forces, hers and the dark power of the curse. His face contorts, the golden glow in his eyes flickering like a dying flame. You are wrong, Kweli says, her voice unwavering. I will not let you take him. She reaches into her pouch and pulls out the last of the anointed oil. Without hesitation, she smears it across Jabali's forehead, murmuring the incantation Bibi Sefu had taught her. The effect is immediate. Jabali lets out a piercing scream, his body convulsing. The shadows coil around him, desperate to hold on, but the light of the anointed oil burns them away. The wind howls, and Mama Jovia shrieks in fury. "No! You foolish girl! You do not understand what you are doing!" Mama Jovia's face begins to crack, her skin peeling as though she is unravelling before their very eyes. Kweli does not hesitate. She grabs the cursed sandals from the ground and flings them into the fire pit behind her. The flames roar to life, engulfing the sandals in brilliant light. The shadows scream, twisting and writhing as they are pulled into the fire. A deafening explosion rocks the earth. Kweli shields Jabali as the air pulses with energy. Then, as suddenly as it began, the storm of dark magic dissipates. The wind stills. The whispers die. The curse is broken. Kweli turns to Jabali, her heart hammering. His breathing is ragged, his body weak, but when he opens his eyes, they are no longer gold. They are his own, deep and warm. "Kweli!" he rasps, reaching for her. "You saved me!" Tears well in her eyes as she pulls him into an embrace. "I almost lost you." A low, pitiful groan pulls their attention back to Mama Jovia. What remains of her is a withered husk, her once powerful form reduced to little more than dust. She stares at them with pure hatred, but there is no strength left in her. "You think you have won," she whispers, her voice barely audible, "but darkness never truly dies." With that, the wind takes her away, scattering her essence into nothingness. Kweli and Jabali stand there for a long moment, holding on to each other. The night is eerily silent, but for the first time in weeks, it is a peaceful silence. They return to the village, where Bibi Sefu is waiting for them at the entrance. She smiles knowingly. "It is done." Kweli nods, exhaustion washing over her. Yes, it is done. But deep inside, she knows that she will never forget the night she fought for her husband's soul and won. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for staying with us until now. Truly, it means everything. Your support, just by subscribing, liking and sharing, keeps these precious African stories alive. It gives Nia Tembo and me the chance to keep pouring our hearts into every word we share with you. So, if you haven't already, please tap that subscribe button and leave us a little note in the comments. Hearing from you fills our spirits with so much joy. And now, my dear friend, stay close, because Nia Tembo has something truly special to share. Her words of wisdom might just be exactly what your heart needs today.
My dear ones, life is full of choices, and every choice carries a weight far greater than we often realize. Some temptations sparkle like gold, whispering promises of happiness, but not everything that glitters is a gift. True wisdom is knowing when to reach and when to let go. If your heart is uneasy, if the path ahead feels clouded in doubt, pause. Listen to the voice within, for it knows the truth before your eyes do. Power and fortune gained through deception will crumble like dust in the wind, but the strength of a pure heart will endure like the roots of the great baobab. Be patient, be mindful, and above all, be brave enough to walk away from what was never meant for you.